Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Night Road 2. We're here today, and we're back with another podcast episode. I have a special guest co-host today, Boonie, one of
Hi
my good
guys.
friends now.
Best friends.
Facts. And we're gonna give you that raw, educated analysis of life. And I want to officially welcome Boonie to the R.E.A.L family. You'll be
Thank you.
seeing her from time to time, and we're gonna have other guest co-hosts. So sometimes it might not be me sitting here with Layla. It might be somebody else, but and shout out to Layla because she had something big happen for her this week.
Yeah,
So
shout out to Layla. I miss you, Layla.
Lay the Bae. We're gonna have her announce it on next week's episode. Something big happened in her life. So I'm not gonna spoil it for
I can't wait to see it.
y'all. So this week we're gonna have something fun. Because Lay the Bae is not really into anime like that. So I thought that would be something fun. I love anime. So
Me too.
we're gonna talk about anime today. And the first one I wanted to talk about was My Hero.
My hero.
I
I just caught back up with my hero too.
I, I think My Hero has had the biggest glow up of any anime I've seen.
I ain't gonna lie, like they showed out. This season they showed out because for a while I had fall back. I was like, all right. This training has been going on for a
Right,
while. When are y'all gonna start fighting?
right. There was no stakes in anything except for like the first season with the Nomu.
Right.
I think that was like the only stakes. And then what the second season has Stain, but
Yeah. I like Stain.
I like
I like
Stain too.
Stain. He remind me of like the Ninja Turtles a little bit. Like he just remind me of like the
Wow.
the personality kind of.
He was a dope villain too, though.
Yeah, I
I,
liked him.
I kind of wish he got more shine. It looked like he about to get more shine now, though.
Yeah, because I saw that they mentioned him. I forgot what episode that was, but I saw that they mentioned him recently.
Yeah, the League of Villains, the
Yeah.
that one guy that does look like a Ninja Turtle mentioned. I
What is his name?
cannot remember his name.
That was a dude because I remember somebody like did a video on TikTok where he took off. Is that the dude with the mask on, right?
Yeah, the mask
Where he
around his
took off
eyes.
his mask. It was one that took off their mask and they were so fine. I was like, hold up.
Oh, you
I
talking
know
about Mr. Compress,
probably,
the one that had
probably
the little
the
mask on, the magic dude.
yeah, probably.
I
I'm
was like,
like,
I did not expect him to look like that under there.
I felt the same way that I felt when Hisoka was bathing in the lake or Hunter x Hunter and his mask was off. I was like, wait a minute.
For real.
Like I was shocked. But the fact that one for all or all for one is all for one or no,
All
one
for
for
one.
all.
All for one, the
No,
bad
the
guy.
villain. Yeah, the
Yeah,
bad
all
guy.
for one.
All
Yeah,
for one. Like why is that man not dead? Why
exactly.
would they leave him alive?
Why even risk it at all, knowing how powerful he is and knowing how
Right.
long he been out there?
Right.
It was just like,
I
oh,
when
you
I saw him, I'm like, bruh,
right.
why y'all
Somebody
didn't get rid of this man?
and then Shigaraki was out, so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, there's somehow, some way they're gonna get him out. And,
Yeah.
and the way that it happened though was grimy though. Like,
You know, that reminded me of we just was talking about Tokyo Ghoul when they tried to break what his name is, the preacher dude out of the prison they had for the villains over there with or the ghouls.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah,
The whose dad was that one of the cops?
yeah.
His like he was raised by him or something like that.
You
It
bringing it back to me
reminded
now.
me of like that clip that they went and tried to break him out.
It's crazy to me though, but like, I think the third season was probably the worst season of My Hero though,
Really?
because it was just like no stakes anymore. Like that, I like an anime where it's like things can happen. There's nothing that.
Right.
That's why I don't like Dragon Ball Super. I know you don't like Dragon Ball, but there's no stakes. It don't matter if anybody dies or not because we all know the end of the stories. What the end of the story is going to be. So it's
Right.
like it's kind of like that. It's like nobody's gonna die here. Nothing's like Nobody's gonna get
But
hurt.
yeah, they definitely be. I like anime that like keep the villains, like they try to lock them up and stuff like that instead of killing them.
Yeah,
Like I just feel like, yeah, okay, so this gonna be a recurring thing where they just popping up every now and then because like he done broke out Shigaraki pretty strong. The only person who can really go up against him is Deku, but I did like that uh the names be losing me. Endeavor and how his family like came together. And like
ooh,
to me that was so beautiful. I never really cared about Endeavor like that, but that moment,
it just
like that made me be
made
like,
me care.
all
Like all
right,
of a sudden,
I kind of like him now.
I still don't like him because it just shows he was an asshole father.
He
Like you
was
just like you was
terrible.
you already knew he was bad to Todoroki, and then now you was even worse to your other son. Come on, fam.
Yeah, turn
You
his
should
son
not be the
to
number one hero.
a villain. But it's also kind of like if not him, who else type of thing. I feel
Yeah,
like you, of course, it's building up to Deku being the number one hero, but is it gonna run that long?
that's what I don't
Because
know. Because
I don't read the manga.
the manga, I don't read it, but I was up. The artist said he was originally going to end it in this arc right here, but he decided to go one more and kind of stretch it out. So
Mm.
they're on the last arc in the manga right now. We're on the one before the last right now. So
Oh,
right now
so
we're like in the split, but I've never seen stakes like this in any anime where I don't see a way that they could win.
I don't either.
I don't like it's no
Like I don't either.
even if they pull something out their butt, like there's nothing that they could
Because they
do.
were given their all on during that fight, and like they barely and they didn't even really win because they
Right?
were able to escape.
Like, and it would have been all bad if Shigaraki was finished. Like if his body was
Yeah, if he
finished.
was Deku, poor little Deku, it was too much for him. He ended up in a
I do think
hospital.
it's cool that he's getting these new quirks though.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I feel like they made the build up of his quirk is so long, but he already so strong with just a little amount
Yeah,
that he's built up. That's why I would love to see him transform into the number one villain. Like I would love to see it.
yeah. It's it's good though. Like these stakes are something else. Like it's just I'm imagining like who could they do? Who could they grab? Freaking
Nobody. Unless
Eraserhead
they
cut off his leg. Like damn, bro.
unless they pull somebody out the woodwork we don't know
I
about.
did hear they're gonna do that. They're gonna pull a hero from the US, the number one hero from the US.
Who would that be?
They haven't showed him. I think they showed him in one of the movies.
Okay, I gotta
Uh
watch the movies because I've never seen any of the movies.
the second one is really good. The first one is okay, but the second one is really good where Deku actually gives his power to Bakugo.
Really?
And they both use all one for all to beat the villain.
Really? That sounds interesting.
I was like, okay. Uh,
Because Bakugo, no, he works my nerves. Like this boy just want to be your friend. Like, chill out.
when he said his name, I started dying laughing. Murdered something. When he said before he said it, I'm like, oh, he actually came up with a cool hero name. Like, okay, he about to, be for
Wait, hold
real.
up. I missed that. Must be because I don't remember
You don't
him
remember him?
saying.
He
You
said
talk
it.
about? Oh, I think I did. I'm sorry. I watch a lot of anime at one time, and I be getting them crossed up. I think I did, but I don't remember what he said.
Yeah, I can't remember what the exact name. I know it murder something, death in there. It was just like you just went overboard again.
Bakugo,
That's just like him.
Bashan.
I'm just like you just for no reason, bro. Like
He always extra.
always.
Always. I swear he worked my nerves.
But I think he's had a lot of character development too, where he actually shows like he does care. But
He do. He
he's just gonna
do.
be a dick though. That's what he is. He's just gonna be a dick.
It's kind of like the I hate to bring this up because I be getting heated. It kind of like the Sasuke thing. Like those characters that like they really low key be liking the friend character, the nice wimpy guy, but
Right.
like they don't know how to express it for real.
So they do them dirty.
Right, they bully. That's kind of how guys are in friendships a lot of the times.
Right.
Like with the way that guys talk to each other, I could never with my female friends.
Sometimes though, I don't understand though. Like the job, females get away with different stuff. Like, oh, what's up, bitch, or whatever. We
Oh no,
can't.
not me. I don't do that.
Oh, because I be hearing that. Like,
I don't like
no.
it. I hate that.
But I used to have a friend like that though. It used to make people uncomfortable when we come around each other. We'd be like, "What's up, bitch ass nigga? What's up, hoe ass
Like
nigga?"
my brothers are terrible. Like I be listening to them talk to like they friends on the game and stuff because like they play games and like the way he just be yelling at them. I said, bro, I would have been crying. I would have took my headphones off and balled up in the corner and cried.
Oh, especially with guys, you cannot do that. You cannot show no emotion like that. Unfortunately, but I did have a friend that passed away. Was the first guy in my life ever that openly would tell me he loved me.
Right.
And then now after
That's
that, I'm like, if you really my friend like that, then I should be
it,
telling you I love you, and it shouldn't
right.
be
It
weird,
should be
bro.
weird or hard to
Like,
do.
I have no
But
problem
they
now.
do say it. Like I feel like guys tell their friends they love them in certain ways. They may not say I love you, but
Right?
they have different ways to say I love you.
There
That
was a
that picking, that's that's how they show love a lot of the times.
there was
Calling you
a TikTok
names.
about that where it's like dudes just can't say thank you. They'd be like, "Good looking out, dog." No, no, say thank you, mother. For sure. You know, you got me. You like, no, say thank you. You know what I'm
That's so
saying?
true. That's so true. I grew up around boys, so I feel like how do y'all talk to each other like that? Like we would be fighting. We would be fighting all the
I think you
time.
gotta have tough skin, especially with black guys. Like
Yeah.
you gotta have tough skin because you're gonna get cracked on. Like that's why like I got the tough skin I do now is more because people make fun of me all my life. So it's just like
Yeah,
there's
me
nothing much
too.
you can say to really like get under my skin like that. So
We call it janking. Like when you make jokes about somebody, but like I grew up around guys, so yeah, my skin is tough too. And I honestly, some of the stuff that you say, that's why I can't argue. Either I'm not gonna know what to say right off the bat, or I'm gonna laugh. If it's funny, if you saying something about me that I feel is funny, I'm laughing.
right. That's how I am too. I'm gonna be like, that was a good one. That was a good one. Like, what I'm supposed to be offended? No,
Me
that's
too.
uh diving back into anime. The next one I'm gonna talk about is one I just finished, so I'm like really up on it. Was Jujutsu Kaisen.
Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, I watched the movie a couple of weeks ago, I think,
The movie
with
was
my
really good
brother.
too.
That was really good. It was really
Does it
good.
feel like a side story to you though, or does
I
it feel like
was
it might tie into the show?
that's what I was thinking about, like, if it would tie in, because this is a whole other, like, student that came or whatever, so I'm like, and I can't remember if my brother told me it happened before, what the dude name is?
Itadori.
Itadori.
It definitely
It
happened
happened
before.
before him.
It definitely happened before because the other kids were in their first year there. They're in their like third year with the current story. So it's before. But
I liked it, though.
it makes me think like is it connected to it or not? Are we gonna see him again?
'Cause I was thinking about that too because although
Excuse me.
it's different, there are some similarities between his story and Itadori's story,
Yeah, very much so.
except Itadori didn't he wasn't cursed like the boy. He didn't come there cursed.
Right,
He
right,
did. He ended up getting cursed when he was fighting, helping his trying to save his friends or whatever.
right. How do you have any predictions for the next season coming up after the
Um to tell you the truth, I don't know. I've been trying to figure out where they were gonna go next season because honestly, Jujutsu, it seems like it's gonna be a short series. You could tell from this first season. At least I felt like it would. So I don't know. I don't know where they're gonna go because the second season, or was it the third season? The second season and then the movie?
Yeah, I thought that was all just one season.
It was one season?
Yeah, that's what it looked like on there. Just
Probably
one season.
is. But when
It
they
was just,
take
I think it was just 25 episodes or 24 episodes.
so one season and then the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so they probably gonna do they're gonna do a season 3. So I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna come together.
I feel like
because they left off in the first season. And I don't watch Jujutsu Kaisen so many times, but like I said, I watch so many anime at the same time that I mix them up. But they ended how they left off on the first season.
They ended off well, the last major thing was then people trying to invade the school.
Fighting, right.
Yeah. And
when they
during
were
their
taking
training,
the test, the training or whatever, and then
yeah,
they ended up having a fight together.
yeah.
And so it ends like that. So I don't know.
I feel like there's so much more. I don't feel like it's gonna be that short. It's gonna be at least like 5 seasons.
I
I
hope
think.
so. I was talking to my brother about it. I don't know if he read the manga or not,
But
but he was telling me he think it's gonna be a short series.
I feel like the villain that they're building up, the other sorcerer, is he has a major plan in the works. So it feels like it's gonna
Like
take,
the antagonist,
yeah,
the main guy,
yeah.
or the main antagonist.
He feels like he has more than just, one season type thing. He got a plan, so it's gonna come together. And even if they might stop this plan, I think it's gonna be more. And I don't know if Gojo can necessarily beat him.
I was gonna say it was cool to see him and Gojo's past in the
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
because I was wondering about that. Like, I kind of want to know like what their past was like. It was cool to see that, but
It made the show make a lot more sense to me when that happened, because he was just like, why did he have to keep hiding his presence? He was like, they can't know I was here.
right,
So
like, and they had this like that relationship, like they're against each other, obviously, but at the same time, there was like a friendship at some point
he called him
with
his
the two
best
of them.
friend.
Yeah, like I was like, I wonder like what their past was. But yeah, I love the movie. I watched it with my brother. Like I said, I think a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, about the same for me. About probably 2 weeks ago. Week 2 weeks ago, probably. Then I started back watching Black Clover, trying to finish it.
I love Black
Especially
Clover.
I wanna catch up before the new season starts this year. So
When is the new season gonna start? Do they have a
it
date yet?
they don't have an official day, but I think it's gonna be summer. They were supposed to
Okay.
start back last year, but I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, because I love Black Clover. I've watched that a few times too. I'm trying to remember if it was an anime that I came across and I was telling my brothers about, because I remember one of my brothers saying that he didn't like Ashta because he was loud.
That's the best part about him.
I love him because of that reason.
I was
He said he's too loud.
when I'm watching it right now though, I'm like, is there another anime character that got more girls after him than Asta?
Honestly, a lot of anime be set up like that, especially the romance. Like it's like the one male character and all the girls like him, like Kirito and Sword Art Online.
See, I
He
gotta
got
finish that to see.
because he got a lot of girls after him too. The dude from High School D&D, and he never like what his name is. I forgot his name, but he had basically the whole freaking student council, or whatever they is, again, going after him. And like he started off like being like a perverted type of dude. So like it's girls, girls, girls. And then he started getting all these girls and didn't know what to do with them. I'm like, bro, you fumbling. You constantly fumbling.
You said you didn't catch up on Mob Psycho yet, huh?
No, I'm not caught up yet. I do need
It's
to catch up
it's over now, so it's like
so
it's
I
not
can
that long.
binge.
Yeah, it's not that long either. And I was gonna talk about that when I talk about Death Note. Like, do you feel like Death Note was like the birth of the short anime to kind of straight to the point type of thing? Because Death Note was like 37 episodes, I think.
I can see it being that. Yeah.
Because before, animes was all year round, and you about to get this stuff like One Piece is
Yeah.
still ongoing every week.
But it
Like,
could also be like the short attention span because you see a whole lot of anime fans that when it's long, it's like anime shouldn't be that long. Like, I don't want to watch an anime that long, like end it already, stuff like that. And it's like, if I love anime, I want
Right.
it to play forever. Like, what do you mean
Yeah,
end
for
it
real. For
already?
real. I don't want stuff to end, especially if it's good. Now, if it start getting off
That
the
made no
rails,
sense to me.
if it start getting off the rails a little bit, like we've all seen shows like that where it's just like y'all should have ended like right here, but y'all kept going for the money
They
type
be
thing.
saying that about One Piece, but I love One Piece. Like, I still have a couple of episodes to catch up on because I don't want to catch up.
Has he found the One Piece yet?
No, I think the One Piece is just him going on his journey with his friends and like that. I think friendship is the One Piece.
It's so crazy to see that evolution because when One Piece started, it was in on the old school box TVs. So
See, I ain't caught it when it first started.
yeah, but when you watch it on there, it wasn't full screen, right? It was like the 16:9 screens because they didn't have it converted it. When I started watching it on Funimation last year, and I'm like, this show has been out that long.
Yes, it's been
It was
out for
before
a while.
digital.
But I think it's evolved pretty good. Like, people, it's too long, whatever, but I like long. I like long. Anything that I like, I want it to last for as long as you can. Stretch it out. And plus,
I
it's a good storyline. And plus, I feel like he don't get the credit that he deserves. Is he don't get the credit that he deserves for being able to write a show with so many characters and then shining a light on most of the characters without losing what the story is about. Because I feel like some anime do. For instance, Demon Slayer. I feel like Demon Slayer is amazing. Like, the animation is beautiful. It's amazing, but the storyline to me got lost. Like, because it's supposed to be about Tanjiro going to try to figure out how to turn Nezuko back into a human.
right.
And you rarely even see her until he start getting beat up.
I hope that they don't keep her in the box this next season.
Yeah, because it's so like, I'm sick of her being in that box.
I want her to get some control over it, and then I want him to try to figure out how to change her back. But we still gotta have, Tanjiro gonna have to go up against
Yeah, like, I
evil
want him
Michael
to still
Jackson,
do. Yeah,
But
definitely. But like, yeah, like, I want to see her more. I want to see her outside of fighting.
yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like we know more about the demons than we do the demon slayers.
Yeah. In this last season, that was the only thing that really bothered me. Like, these niggas is bad.
Yeah,
Why are you
why we
giving
see the
us
backstory?
right? I don't give a damn. Just kill him. It's like,
Exactly.
oh, his sister, he just loved his sister so much. And then,
It's Tanjiro gonna have him a funeral over some demons, bro.
right. He's
I
just gonna
swear
be
he
all
gonna
sad,
cry.
like, no, kill them and get to the next story.
But I will say I did like the fact that they were just cutthroat from the beginning. It wasn't no something tragic happened and they ended up becoming evil. Nah, they were evil from the beginning.
Oh yeah, straight up.
I love that
Oh
part
yeah,
about it.
straight up. We were talking about Death Note last night, how going
Yeah.
back, Death Note is one of those animes you can go back and rewatch.
Yeah, because I'm,
Definitely.
I'm I'm in the process of doing that right now.
And then the more you watch it, the more I feel like you can see that Light was just stupid at a certain point. He just got really,
He was
really way too
arrogant.
cocky. Way too cocky. Like,
He
you really
was
could have
so
got away
arrogant.
with it at so many points.
He could have chilled out, but it was like, I feel like it started to become a game. Then it's like, let me see if I can outmaneuver them,
Right.
type of thing. It started to become a game for him rather than where he started out just doing it to get rid of the bad people and peace around the world. I feel like
Right.
most animes are like that.
Right.
They're fighting for like basically like a Eden, but in the process of doing that, you're making yourself evil.
I want to watch a different anime style because people were saying that there's the shonen style, which is what all the
Yeah.
anime we talked about, which is
Mm.
the overly good protagonists like Deku, like Asta, like all that, like
Naruto.
yeah, they're all super good. But I want to
Right.
see the other ones where they're like, I want a flawed protagonist.
You have you seen Code Geass?
Mm-mm.
Lelouch the Rebellion? you need to check him out. Lelouch is not necessarily a bad person, but from the very beginning, he had a mission, and like he was a good person to like the people in his life, like his family, his friends or
Mhm.
whatever, and not necessarily by being actually a good person. They just liked him because he was terrible. He reminded me a lot of one of my brothers. He remind me a lot of that. Like he really just don't be caring about nothing. And if you could just people was just inviting themselves in his space. And he really just didn't care whether they was around or not. Only person he cared about was his little sister. But at the same time, you could say that Lelouch was, he cared about everybody because of what he did for everybody. Like when I tell you the most strategic anime character that I have ever seen in my life, you gotta watch
Wow.
it. Like you gotta watch it so we can talk
You gotta
about it.
send it to me off of here so I could, cause I'm been like I'm in a anime mood like lately, like so
Yeah. See,
I've
I
been
took a
binging.
break for a while because I was addicted, and I was like, okay, I gotta catch up on my other shows now. So let me take a break. But
Right.
I've started back watching. Have I seen any new things? I did. I saw Spy Family.
Spy X Family, I really liked it and it was fun.
I liked it too. I like it.
It's fun. It's not like really nothing
Right.
major. It's
I
funny.
like how each character is like goofy, but at the same time they a little scary. Cause Anya is a little psychotic.
Like the way
But
she's
I
making
love
up little
her so
stories in her
much.
head is funny.
I love
This is
her
gonna
so much
happen, and then
though.
mommy and daddy break up, and then I'm gonna have to. I'm just like,
Bro, you know what? That's exactly how I be sometimes. I would create a whole life in my head. I be crying and all that. Then I start laughing at myself like, bro, what is wrong with you?
hold on one second. Yeah, I think it's really fun, and I feel I can see that going for a long time. They said that's the number one anime for this past year.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I like it. I
Do
like
you
I like
do you prefer dubs or subs?
It depends if because I feel like it depends on how I started it. If I started it in sub, I want to finish it in sub, and then I'll go back and look at it in dub. But if I started in dub, I want to finish it in dub because it like for instance, which anime is that? Bleach, Blood Wars, because I saw the first Bleach in dub, so adjusting to Ichigo's Japanese voice has been a little hard, but it's so good, so it's okay. But
Sometimes it
it just
makes
depends on how I started.
watching a sub makes you kind of compare, and
Yeah,
then also it kind of sometimes a lot of I hate the fact that especially older animes when they got dubbed they Americanized everything.
yeah.
I didn't like the fact that they did that. So like you growing up watching something and seeing it this way, and then realizing that this is not the character's personality, this is not who they are. It's just
Right.
Pokemon. Like that was not his name. That was not none of the characters' names. Like, bro, y'all thought we was stupid,
America gonna mess things up. They
right?
gonna mess up.
Now it's more comfortable, and then it's a privilege to be in today's society where we can get the simulcast stuff. Like My Hero is literally airing at the same time, pretty much out here. We're getting
Right, right,
the stuff back to back. Before you had to wait years and years and years,
right.
but they realized that it's a huge fan base out here, just like it is out there.
It is. It definitely is.
And One Piece is
I didn't know that either. Like getting on the internet and seeing a lot of people that were fans and like cosplayers and stuff. I was like, oh my god, there are people who are doing this year round. Like I'm no longer the weird person who likes to dress up
one of the
as
things
characters.
I want to do is dress up like Boo one year, and then
You definitely have to do some cosplay.
yeah, I want to do it. I think it'll be fun, and then show up to the conventions. I want to go to DreamCon.
Me
Like
too.
the fact
Man,
that they
I had a whole trip planned last year for DreamCon. But the flights, they were having issues with the airlines and stuff like that. It was our first time flying, so we
uh,
lost a lot of money, but it's cool.
have you never flown before?
No, this it was our first time getting on the airplane. I
It's
didn't get on the airplane growing up because of course sickle cell, my mama She ain't getting on no airplane. I'm like the person in my family that like does the things that nobody else do. So like I get them to go far. I'm trying to get them to get on the airplane though. See, I almost had my brothers. We was gonna do it. I was gonna be so happy.
That's so awesome. It's gonna be an experience. It reminds me you saying your mom don't want to fly. It reminds me
She's never.
of my grandma because we had to literally convince her to get on the plane. Literally, like, and I was like, I've been flying since I was little, so I had no choice because my dad was from Virginia and I lived in California. So
Right.
you know, we I flew when I was a baby, literally, and then
I
I flew when
wish.
I was 7. So it was like I was never afraid of getting on planes. But my grandma was, and we literally get on a plane and we flew first class, so we had to go right by the pilot,
Okay.
the cockpit. Yeah, we flew by the walked by the cockpit, and my grandma literally went up in there and asked the pilot, "You ain't been drinking, have you? You don't get."
Grandma was on to something now.
You good, right?
On to
You
something.
know, you're gonna get us there safe. All right.
Yeah, but I don't think nobody in my family has gotten on the airplane, so I gotta do it. I have to. So the younger kids can, like they won't be afraid of it or whatever. But I wanted us to plan. If we could get tickets, we could go this year. Go to DreamCon this year. But I'm going to some conventions this year.
It's so crazy to me to think about that there's some people in this world that have never left their town
Yeah.
or their area. Like they live their
Most of my
whole
family like
lives.
that.
It's crazy to me that
Most of
like
my family like that. Like I travel a little bit, mostly with my dad, like because my dad lived in North Carolina. So I would travel with him. He would go like vacations to Florida, different stuff like that. I would be with him. That's the only reason why I travel. And I used to just go with like anybody that was going someplace different. I was trying to be there. Like, cause being around here and never leaving. Mm-mm.
I never wanted to be that person that just stayed. But I didn't notice it was people like that until I got grown, where it was just like you've never left here,
Yeah. And
like
there's
you've
some
never
people
went
who comfortable, like it's cool. They don't care about like doing stuff like that.
right.
I'd be
Why,
so sad, like, well, how?
why don't you want to see the world? Like
And
it's a huge place.
I be feeling like, bro, y'all healthy. If I had y'all bodies, I would never be here. I
Yeah.
literally wouldn't.
I want to stay in the South as far as living wise, but I just want to travel everywhere.
Yeah,
Like
me too.
I want to go to Africa. That's the first place out of the country I want to go. Everybody else want to go to Jamaica and all of that. Nope. Take me to the
I wanna
motherland,
go to Lagos. Um,
Nigeria.
yeah,
I heard it's a beautiful city too.
I wanna go there so bad.
I wish they would show more of that on TV.
Me
Like
too.
when I had somebody on the podcast and she was telling me that she her family's from there, and so they don't really show how beautiful it is. Looks some places look just like here, or it's even
Right.
more beautiful in places. They just show the impoverished areas. That'd be like the only thing you see of America is Skid Row. Like,
Yeah. I think do you think they kind of do that to like separate us to like make us like discourage us from traveling to those places?
I think partially is and people might think this is a conspiracy, but it's true. China is buying property in Africa.
Yeah.
They're buying it cheap. The way to keep it cheap is to make it look bad. And a lot of Chinese people have their hands in media. So you keep showing the people look bad. Oh, I don't want to buy
So
nothing over there.
right, cause so they won't want to go. Like the way that they kind of poisoned our minds, but at the same time, like, can you like people who really like wholeheartedly be believing everything that they see that our
Right.
government showed them? I just be like, how?
It was easier to understand before, like when we were kids, because we didn't have
We didn't.
access to
Right.
everything. But now everything's at your fingertips, and we're seeing the obvious shit that the government has done. Like literally, the whole crack epidemic is because of the government.
You see all this stuff, everything now. But you have some people that still will deny it. Like I remember I was wearing like a head wrap and somebody one of my cousins, it was an older like in the older generation was like, why you got that on your head looking like an African? And I'm like, because them my ancestors. Like it's in me. No, it ain't. You from South Carolina. You from King Street. And I'm like,
It bothers me when I hear people say, "Well, I'm not an African American because I never been to Africa." Like, but you still are of African descent. Look at your skin color, bro. Like you literally, we were
because I
born
never
there.
been to Africa.
You're not African American. What does that mean? It's sad to me that I was talking to my wife about this last night about how white people can track their lineage generations before they came to this country. Ours, a lot of times people don't even know, some people don't know who their parents are or who their grandparents are. And then if you
Right.
can, you cannot track past
The
slavery.
great grandma or yeah,
Yeah. So
like
it
like
leads back to slaves. That's it.
my great grandma is like the oldest person in our family that I remember. She only in her 80s. Like she just in her 80s. My family is pretty young. I don't really know any of the like elders. Like I was alive. I mean, I was born when my great grandma's mom was alive, I think. But I don't have any memories, and then my great grandma is not really the type of grandparent that shares that type of stuff. You only hear about the bad things that happen to her. You don't hear, you know what I mean, like about the family and stuff like that. And I we be trying to get her to talk about it, but she don't because it's a past that I guess it's a lot of stuff that she went through that she don't want to
A lot of
remember.
older people don't want to touch on it, but I try to ask them because I want to be my
Me
family
too.
historian. I want to know all the
Me
stories. So
too.
tell me, because it's stuff that I want to. You need to fill in these blanks for me because I can track my dad's side back to the 1800s, but and it's like I said, it
Wow, that's
starts with this.
amazing though.
It starts with a
That's
slave,
amazing.
though. It's like my ancestors, the oldest. I can't go any further past the 1800s. Like,
But
so I don't
even
know where.
so, that is amazing because a lot of people can't do that. Like for me, it's on both sides. Like I don't even know my dad's great grandma. I just know his mom. I don't know a grandma. I don't know his mom's mom or I don't know his dad's mom. And I'm pretty sure I've met somebody before. But like I don't really know a whole lot of it don't go that far back.
So you said your great grandmother is in her 80s?
She just got like she probably like 82, 83.
Oh wow, my grandma is 86.
Yeah, my grandma is she probably 60 now. She probably gonna turn 60.
I would I wish that we like more people would be willing to have conversations with older people from older generations, especially black people.
I
And
definitely want I like talking to them.
me too. I went to a buffet a couple of years ago, and there was this older guy there, and it's crazy because on the at the buffet there was a picture of this guy in the military. It was obviously from World War II,
Mhm.
and we had said spoke to him, and then he started telling his whole story, and I'm just like, this is awesome. He's like, that picture on the wall is me.
Wow.
I was just
Like
like,
stuff like that. Like I don't even really got pictures of myself young like that. Like I have a few, but I'm talking about like my early years, like newborn to like maybe 2, 3 years old. I think the farthest back I remember, my mom probably got like one picture of me when I was like 2. And
mm,
I actually have memories from that age.
really, from
Yeah,
two?
from 2. Like I have memories from that age that they don't
Wow.
even know that a lot of stuff that they don't even know that I know because I don't talk about it like that. But yeah, but there's not a whole lot of pictures though.
That's one thing my mom was good at. She took pictures of everything. I have a chronically for me being a baby, two, three, four, five, six, seven, all the way up. Well, I don't know if I like.
My mama started doing that when we moved because we used to all live in the projects with my grandma. It was like 20 people in like one like a 4-bedroom house.
Oh my goodness!
Cause she had 10 kids, 9 living kids. And I
Wow,
think I was the only grandchild that was living there, I think. Me and my first brother.
that's crazy. How old? How old were you when you moved from there?
I think I was like probably 3, 4, probably 5. I keep trying to remember. I think by the time I was able to go to school, I was living here. Because my grandma had land. My great grandma had this land right here, 1 acre. We got 3 houses on 1 acre. Nowadays they don't let you do that. Like you have to get an acre per house now. But she got her as soon as she got some land. My mama moved here with her. Then she got her own place. I think my mama was like 18 when she did. My mama grew up pretty fast. And she had me when she was 15.
Oh wow. Oh wow. So y'all are really close in age.
Yeah, that's why I say we grew up together. So
I
yeah.
thought my mama was young when she had me. My mom was 18 and turned 19 the next month after I was born. Or was it
That's
19?
actually that's actually old for our family because my grandma had her first kid at 13, I think. One of my aunts had her first ones at 13. I think my great grandma had my grandma like 13, 14. So yeah, they grew up fast.
That's crazy. I feel like no more black people, we need to start going back into diving into our family stories. At least
We
talking to
do.
our elders and finding out stuff from them because there's so much stuff that's swept under the rug and so much pain they try to hide from
Yeah.
us.
And you
Like,
see like the blow ups at the family reunions and stuff, and like I used to
right.
wonder why is it just us? Why don't we know nobody else? We never go to cookouts to nobody else's house. We never and for my great grandma that was a no. Oh no, we're not going over there type of thing. Like she had beef with them, and it was like she kept us all in like this one corner,
Oh wow.
so we didn't even really get to.
And how do you explain that to kids? Because kids notice stuff like that, but it's just like that you
Right.
can't really question it. It's just like
Oh, I was questioning it. I used to
oh
ask all the
yeah, I know you the
questions.
rebel, so
Yeah, like why don't we know these people? Like I got cousins that we ain't grow up together, so they think it's okay to talk to me. Nah, like we cut like I know they were my cousins, but I didn't grow up with them.
right.
And then you know how the South, even though they try to make it seem like it's a white people thing, the rule basically is if I didn't grow up with you, you ain't my family, and that's such a lie.
Big old lies.
A big
You can
lie.
look just alike too. Like y'all look like y'all family, but
Somebody was like, one of my cousins told me, "You ain't never had dinner at my grandma's house," and I'm like, "That doesn't mean that we're not cousins."
to
What do
me,
you mean?
it's how you are when you meet each other. Because I have an uncle who I don't call my uncle, and
Mm,
it's because he had the opportunity to build a relationship with me, and he's failed at every turn.
I
He had
understand that.
opportunities to see me. Like literally, I have two uncles. I think I told you one of the uncles who was a crackhead, who's
Mhm.
passed away by now. He's passed away now. Uh, but he at least made the effort to be my uncle, you
Right,
know, and get that respect from me. Cause like it don't matter to me that you was a drug addict. It's
right.
just who are you to me as a kid or anything like that. This other one, first time I saw him, I was grown,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
where was he?
he was on the streets. Uh,
Mm,
he was a drug addict too,
got you.
but he chose not to come around the family, even though he had money. He literally worked at the port. He would literally go work at the port. Make this is a dream job for people in California because you're making 6 figures a year working there. He would still be working there and blow all his money and sleep in the box.
Wow.
Yes, he was literally making money to have enough to
So
have a
he
house.
was choosing to be homeless,
Yes,
basically.
so he could spend all his money on drugs.
Yeah, but I didn't really have a choice but to be around, like, at least my immediate family, like my mom and her siblings, because we all was always around each other. Probably too much.
My mom was close to her siblings except for him though, but she was kind of close to him at times in her life. And then when I got
Right.
older, he started to trying to be closer to her. But then when I saw him, he just would be argumentative, and me and him got
Why?
into an argument. He got mad at me one time because I pulled up to pick up my other uncle from his house, and I pulled up kind of like close to his driveway, and he didn't say hi to me or nothing. He was like, "Move your fucking car." I'm not in
Why
the
your
way of
animosity?
nigga. I'm not in the way of nothing. Yeah, you better move. I don't like that. I'm just like, I'm literally like, I'm not staying. He's coming out. He's gonna bring his clothes, and we leaving.
Right.
You need to move. I'm saying,
with my family was an alcohol problem. I guess you could say drugs too, but I didn't really see with my own eyes that they were on drugs, but you could kind of tell when somebody on drugs.
Yeah,
It was more
definitely.
so alcohol problem. But I will say this, compared to how they were in the past, they have gotten a lot better. I think mostly because my mom is like the mama of everybody, and it's like she would keep talking. If y'all don't if y'all don't change your life, basically, I'm putting y'all out. Like I'm putting y'all out for Becker, so y'all need to do better, type of thing. And
How
she
do
is
you
the
feel?
middle child.
How do you feel about that? Like parents kicking children out?
Talk about like when they become adults.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't feel like I feel like kids should be allowed to stay longer than like 18. You forcing them, because I feel like that's how we become so messed up in our
Hmm.
community, because
Hmm.
we're pushed to be adults sooner than most races of people. Like our
Right.
parents are like, grow up type of thing. I'll take care of you for 18 years, get out and grow up. But I feel like you're making your kids struggle earlier or whatever, when they could just stay there, work, save money, maybe even help you out a little bit, and grow their money and then move out, so they won't have to struggle as hard.
I,
I feel like it's something that we should stop doing.
I think it's passing down the trauma from other people because we're
Yeah.
forcing to keep people to grow up, but you got to ask, like, look, was you grown at 18?
Nah, I was ready to leave though, I ain't gonna lie.
You wanted to leave at the same time. Was you ready for the real world? We we
Nah.
we not. We and especially when going in a black household, because my household was stay in a child's place, don't do this stuff, like, and then I'm 18, you're supposed to my parents kicked me out when I was
Right.
17. How I'm supposed to know how to pay bills when you didn't teach me how to do this? How I'm supposed to learn how to budget when you didn't teach me how to budget? How I'm supposed to learn how to fill out paperwork when you didn't teach me how to fill out paperwork? Like
And I feel like black people have this thing where it's like, I struggle, so you struggle. That makes no sense. If I struggle, I'm working hard to make money and make a better life for myself. When I have my kids, I don't want them to struggle. That's the point, right? We're not supposed to pass
exactly.
down struggle. We're supposed to pass down wealth to our kids. Not necessarily
Exactly.
financially, but like mental,
That's
physically, spiritually, all of that.
that's why these white kids have such an advantage over us, because you could, little Billy could stay in his daddy's house till he's 35.
Yeah, in that basement.
Right. This living there, but they don't get the same advantages. We got to go figure it out, and sometimes we make gold out of it. We make the best out of life, but a lot of
Yeah.
times we end up screwed up and living check to check when we don't have to.
For your whole life. That's what I'd be looking at my family like, you know, looking at the way that from when I've been little, I've been paying attention to a lot of their practices, especially when it comes to financial. Like you said, your uncle had a good job, but he used to blow all his money on drugs. My family was like that with alcohol and like unnecessary stuff. And like my mama was like like you could say the black sheep of the kids, and she kind of was more responsible and she was kind of more independent. And they go like that person because you're different.
Right.
You
My
think you better than them.
alcohol was a major issue for my grandparents, both my grandfathers. I didn't get to meet my mom's dad like that. I was 2 when he passed. So my other grandpa, I met him, but luckily I met him when he wasn't an addict anymore. But
Right,
my dad grew up with him being an alcoholic, like, and it was a small town that he grew up in, so he was known as the town drunk.
right.
And to see who he
Yeah,
was, like,
everybody where we live is a town drunk.
I feel like that's the town I live in right now. Like everybody drinking. Like in Drew, Mississippi, it's a small town, but everybody do got some vice.
Everybody.
It
That's a good topic that we need to talk about too. Escapism.
actually we were talking about a topic earlier that I wanted to touch on a little bit, which was the watching who you marry or who you decide to
Have
procreate with,
kids with, yeah.
which I think.
Because
Go
even
ahead.
down to like behavior, the way that the person behaved as a kid, the bad habits, all of that stuff. Your kids are going to inherit all of those things, and it's going to be from two people. So they
Exactly.
getting your traits is like procreating should be taken a lot more serious than it is. I feel like people it's just a love thing. Like, I love this person, I want to have kids with them, and sometimes you don't even be loving the person.
Exactly.
You
Exactly. It
just
just be infatuation. Are you just really
attachment,
you just digging this person
addicted.
right now? And what else you gonna like to
And like
me?
that's how I say too, like y'all people, like I used to tell my sister them, like, you don't need to have a baby by every dude that you like. That's not that's not how you should be moving.
Because some people that solidifies their love, like, oh, this is the
Yeah.
only way we can say we love each other. And it's just like there's several other ways.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a lot of women, I feel like they feel like that, like having a kid with somebody is like marriage these days. Because they've created this codependent relationship with their baby mamas and baby daddies,
Right,
where it's like, we had this kid together, so you are indebted to me for
right.
the rest of my life. And that is crazy. That's the craziest contract I've ever seen. A child
And
responsibility.
they get used as collateral at certain points.
Yeah,
Just like you made this kid a bargaining chip, basically.
exactly. And that's a little mentally ill.
Dr. Dre talked about it on
Mental
his
illness.
on his album 2001. It was a Eddie Griffin. He was like, "That'll keep a nigga, baby." Like,
That's weird. It's always been weird to me.
like
Like,
why are you doing that to keep somebody? And then now you don't even keep him, or the person stays, and y'all got a toxic ass relationship.
relationship, poor baby, poor child.
Right, and he just suffering. My parents didn't really like each other, like,
Right.
because they
Or
know it. They
yeah,
picked up
they
on it.
know. Even some of the kids who be pretending like their parents are perfect, when you could tell that their parents are not, because of how they are.
Right, right. That's how I thought of my parents as being perfect when I was younger, but it took me getting older to realize that they weren't.
I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna lie. When I was younger, I thought grown-ups were stupid, and I was right.
I wish I
I
could
was
have had
right.
that. I wish I could have had that bravery when I was younger, because me speaking up on anything, and then it's crazy. Like, my mind shifted. I had two different shifts. When I was younger, I'm like, I'm not gonna whip my kids. I'm not gonna be this way. Then when I got a little older, I'm like, I'm gonna whip my kids or whatever. And then I had to think again, and I'm like, why did I change that? I'm using what they did as a cop out. I'm copping out
Exactly.
just like they did.
A lot
I
of
got
time it's lazy. It's like, I feel like beating your kids is lazy.
exactly.
Because you don't have to, because I feel like when you have kids, you need to get to know that kid, not what you want them to be. Not like, because I feel like parents spend a lot of time trying to mold their kids into what they want them to be, but you need to get to know your kid, find out how they learn, find out why they do certain things, and like figure out little things that you could do to counteract that stuff. If you got a
Exactly.
child that's bad, like that's really active and bad, they like getting in trouble, you have to figure out how to make their minds work so they can stop doing things to get in trouble, because that's really a lot of times they do stuff out of boredom.
Right. I think a whooping back in the old days was just, and I'm not making an excuse, but a lot of times it was the only option they felt like they had,
Right.
because they had to go to work and come home, and they had to go to work, not only go to work, come back, make your food, and then try to find time to get to sleep and everything like that. Now it's not an excuse anymore, because you figured it out. We figured it out. Okay, you
Exactly.
need to be a parent, and whooping is not going to fix everything, because it's like, well, look how we turned out. Now your generation turned out fucked up.
I feel like that's a poverty like thing.
Right.
Your parents are always in a state of survival. They don't really get a chance to sit and get to know their kids. Cause I gotta work. Like you said, I'm working, and when I'm not working, I gotta keep this house up. I gotta do all of these things. So I don't have time to figure a kid out. But like you said, now things have gotten better. Now I feel like people are still poor and they still have to work hard. So you may have some people who still don't have the time to do that. But at the same time, there are so many like different things. But I think in this day and age, the one thing that's really missing when it comes to kids is community. I feel like
Mm,
people would be
mm.
better parents if they had people helping them. like helping them with their kids sometimes. That's why when people be like, you should, why you ain't got no kids? You should have kids. I'm like, maybe I'm supposed to be support for other people who have kids
Exactly. And
rather than having my kids.
that's what you got to ask yourself too before you decide to have kids. Like these are serious questions. It's just not
Yeah.
it's not just let's have sex and have a baby.
Yeah, that's
What kind of environment are you going to have them around, because you can't be around all the time. So do you have people around you that you really
exactly.
genuinely trust to raise them just like you are? Because and it's not just handing out, whoopings and stuff like that. It's real guidance. Are you going to guide this child just like I will? It's like you said, it's the village mentality
It's
to
a
me.
village. And like, you kind of have to, well, we don't think like that. I feel like other races kind of do because a
Mhm.
lot of the times they
Mhm.
have their lives already kind of lined up. We don't. Like, we don't think like that. And I feel like you have to think about that before you even get to that point where you want to have kids. You have to, which means like as you go along in life, you have to create that village. You have to create a village of people that you can trust, people that can help you out. Like, I understand, like, we have this thing where friendships are supposed to be beneficial. They're not supposed to be transactional, but at the same time, everything we do is pretty transactional. You're gonna want you everybody can benefit from relationships and stuff like that too. It's just about give and take. You can't just be taking. That's what
Right,
makes it bad.
right. And I
But
think
you have
that's
to be building that village along as you go along.
right. That's why we need to start really teaching kids, because the only thing that you talked about it on your podcast, the only thing they pretty much tell the kids is don't do it, or use a
Yep.
condom, or when it comes to sex, no, you need to really be talking about procreation, because they don't think about it beforehand.
That's
And
and I was saying they don't know.
they don't know.
They don't know about it.
Right. And then you got these 16-year-olds having kids or whatever. And then, the parents, well, that's not my job to take care of them. Well, actually it is
It
now, because they
is.
were still a child and under your care. It is your job. Why
That
stop?
too. That too. The like if the child ends up getting pregnant at a young age, this like jerk reaction to just make them suffer because they've had a child is so toxic. It's toxic for them and it's toxic for the child. So you're creating a toxic environment for a child before they even get to be here
Exactly.
by saying you got pregnant, so you take care of them. And I get it. It's hard. They putting more on you when they get pregnant, but at the same time, it was your responsibility to teach them the responsibilities that comes with sex.
I think a lot of parents, the biggest failure that a lot of parents have is not teaching your child real critical thinking skills. And to get in that situation, okay, I'm gonna have sex now. No, before that, they need to think about what comes along with having sex, but they don't think about it. If you train them the right way and teach them, they will have and they can have all the reasons to make the right decision. But if you have half the information, then you make a bad decision. Is that really your fault at that time?
And then the expectation, the unrealistic expectation they put on kids, you shouldn't have sex. That's not It's not practical. Your kids are going to have sex. You have to accept it. Some of them have sex earlier, but
Right,
for me, my mom talked to me about sex. Like whenever I would have questions, she would answer them. So I wasn't really rushing to do it. Like I was like, okay, she was like, okay, I just want you to at least wait until you get out of high school. That's reasonable,
right.
especially if you're like when I have questions, I'm curious about something, I can come talk to you, or like certain things. Like I was a very like I won't say I was obsessed with sex, but I was obsessed with the knowledge of sex, like learning everything about it. So like my friends would come and ask me questions. I would go ask my mom and I would like take the information back and I would be like, well, my mom said this and this and
It
this. And to
what
this day, they'd be like, those I still use your mama tips and they still work.
One thing about all kids that is the same is all kids are curious. So if you start giving them the information and they'll be like, well, that's too young or whatever, it's never really too young, because once they start understanding stuff, you can start explaining stuff. Like, I'm not saying do it to a 3 or 4 year old talk about sex, but you at least need to tell them what their body parts are at that age.
Right.
You at
And
least have
like
a
the feelings, like you might experience it because like me and Van, for instance, when I asked the question, when was the first time, on the podcast, when was the first time you were introduced to sex? And for us, it was just I naturally just knew what it was. No,
right.
like my mama never really had to have that this is what sex is conversation to me. I kind of always knew, and I kind of used to have the feelings and I knew what they were. But like, and I feel like as early as I can remember too, because I feel like because I think like I was like 3, my first time kissing somebody, and it was a girl. It was like my best friend. She was living in the project with me, and me and her was kissing, and we got in trouble. 3 years old,
And I don't think it's right to punish a child when they don't
and
understand
I
stuff either.
definitely got a beating.
That was a thing for a parent and that's gonna stop you from doing it.
No,
Like,
because
no,
I
it's
kept
not.
doing it.
Exactly. You're gonna explain to them like, hey, this is maybe what you shouldn't be doing too. But then that's the question too. Should be watching these kids? Some certain things won't happen
Exactly.
if you have them in an environment to win. And I don't care. Like to me, it's like I don't care if it's all girls or all boys. I'm watching.
Yeah, because they gonna experiment. If you think that just making your daughter hang with just women or your son hang with just guys, they gonna stop them from having sex, you're wrong.
Not at all. Not at all. Because that's the age they start figuring out their sexuality and they figure out if they
And even
dare.
if even if they're not experimenting with each other, they gonna talk about it. Somebody in
Exactly.
that group gonna know something about it.
Right. That's why you got to have that open communication. It's crazy. This conversation shifted from anime to this, but it's juicy, so we gonna keep it. It's
That's
it's
usually how our conversations go.
right. This is just a peek into the conversations that us best friends have for real. Like we be
Exactly.
talking about
Yo,
everything.
we been having the same conversation from the day that we met. We've been having one long
Right.
conversation.
But I think I want to do a whole episode about breaking down hereditary diseases and everything. And I
Yeah,
would like if Lay the Bae is not available, then I hope that you are.
I'm definitely
And
down.
and maybe you could just be on the episode if Lay is here, because I think it's really important to watch who you procreate with, and then y'all morals need to line up too, like
Mm.
because you know what you want, and then a lot of times you sit there and get in arguments because y'all want to parent differently. If y'all
Yeah.
talked about that beforehand, y'all
Mhm.
wouldn't be here.
And sometimes people will like they'll have that conversation beforehand and they switch up because it's easy to say, "Hey, this is the type." But at the same time, I kind of feel like people will say, "No, don't ever say what you wouldn't do or what you would do because you never know." I feel like yeah, in those situations, the pressure is on you, but at the same time, when you've been pretty much programming yourself to think a certain type of way, okay, and people don't do it a lot because it's like I don't want to. People like the element of surprise. They like spontaneous things and stuff like that, and I feel like it's overrated.
Right,
I
right,
want like there's nothing wrong with planning stuff out, having a real conversation with somebody, especially if you're trying to be committed to them and you want to
right.
have kids with them. Like have those conversations, and if you can't talk to that person, then maybe you shouldn't be with them.
Because there's serious questions that you need to ask somebody, especially before having a child.
Yeah,
Know their family history too. How because you got to know. Okay, well, if is your family this way? Do your family possibly have somebody that committed sexual crimes in it?
right,
Hey, we can't go over there. That's
right.
we not gonna be that family that just throw our kids to the wolves or stuff. Like you gotta really have a conversation like that, and it really starts with being open, and it starts with what Layla and I were talking about is having a conversation about deep things.
Instead
Really,
of the surface
yeah,
level.
really talking about stuff. You'll figure out a whole lot by asking people questions
Yeah.
about their childhood. Where did you grow up? How did you grow up? What were your parents like? What were your grandparents like? Were both of your parents in your life? Where like
Right.
what how did you how were your parents growing up? And then
And
two,
the
that's another
important
question.
thing,
Have they faced their traumas too? But go ahead, what were you gonna say?
like how were their parents to each other?
Mm,
Kids are highly influenced by how their parents were to each other. like how they work together in that relationship, not really just if they were there. And I think people focus so much on that. Did you have two parents? It don't matter if you had two parents or
Mm,
not. What matters is how were they to each other? How did you grow up seeing that relationship? Because if you never saw them show love and affection to each other, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna do that because you don't really know because you ain't saw it.
e-
Or you're going to be somebody that show that's going to be a love language because it was missing in your house
exactly.
sometimes. Because my mom is like that. She's very affectionate, but none of her kids are except like my youngest brother.
I
That
think
she,
that we pick up on subconsciously we pick up on a lot of things. Like I picked up on stuff
yeah,
from my parents. Like I grew up in a two-parent household, and everybody's like, "Well, you were winning." And I said, "Was I?
right,
Was was I?" Because I dealt with. They both had issues that they were going through.
right.
That they didn't even work through. That they didn't even know that they were going through. And then seeing how they interacted with each other, they were affectionate to each other, very much so. But my mom, looking back, was the iron fist in the house. She was the
Got you.
in control of everything.
Right,
And it and my dad was the king, like the king of England. He was just the figurehead. It was just like
right.
everybody thinks that he's in control, but behind closed doors,
He's not. That's
he,
kind of how a lot of relationships are.
right.
A
And,
lot of the times.
and it made me think of, well,
My
as
dad is the same way, like how you say your dad was. Like my dad definitely was like like he provided in all of those things, but my dad is very like laid back. He's not like a argumentative person. I call him gentle.
right.
He's gentle. Like so his wife I felt like she well no, I'm not gonna say the head of the household, but I felt like, she made the final decisions about things and stuff like that. Like he was very my dad and my mom are pretty similar, except my mom is bossy. So like it's like she's bossy. He's not. Like he's just very laid back and too nice sometimes, I feel. So and then I feel like my mom is too nice to an extent. She'll stick up for herself, but she's still gonna do. I'm not gonna say too nice. She's still gonna do her part regardless of whether her partner is. She's one of those type of people, and that's I picked that up from her, and that's why I'm so terrified of getting in a relationship because I don't want to get in a situation where it's like one sided. I'm doing everything, and that person isn't like because it seems like you attract people like that when you're a giver, you attract
Right, right,
takers.
right.
And I
And
hate
you
that.
should be looking for somebody that's gonna match your giving energy.
Exactly.
And that's really important. Like everybody says a relationship is 50-50. No, it's not. It's 100,
100,
100.
100, 100. You're the only other person that I heard say that.
Because and the fact is your 100 might not match the other person's 100, but it's your effort that you put in forth that you're trying to do. Because and a lot of times, sometimes people gonna get weak and everything. Are you gonna be able to help that person get back up and get back to where they're
Right.
supposed to be? Are you gonna be able to have that strength? Because sometimes
Right.
it's hard. Sometimes for real, like relationships are hard
Because you
work.
can't just look at your partner struggling and be like, nigga, you better get up.
And I know people like
That's
that.
that's
I know
cold.
people. I've seen people have those conversations before, like that on these other stupid podcasts where it's just
That
like,
is cold.
well, you better figure it out. Like
Or you can help them figure it out. That's what you're here for.
exactly. If he ain't got no job, then that's just on him. It's just like, how about you figure out what's going on in
And
his
how do
mental?
you function too though? Like if you're in a committed relationship, right? And your spouse loses their job and you have the mentality, if he ain't got no job, that's on him. How are you functioning?
Exactly. Because
Because if they ain't functioning right, you not gonna be able to function right.
at a certain point, you would think it would be beneficial to you to help them figure out what they're going through,
Right.
even just
Right.
on a financial level, because they lost the job. Okay, you want to be the house person or whatever. Are you gonna at least help them find something?
Help them
Right?
find a job. I've had to do that to people that I didn't even have commitments. I've helped people find jobs. I've helped people started like ideas that they had, businesses, stuff like that, because I feel like that's what you're supposed to do as a partner. Like I don't know. And you have some people who go into every relationship being that person, and it seems like when you're like that, your partner is usually not like they don't appreciate it. They take advantage. So I don't know, like when we having the conversations, and I hear a lot of men saying, "This is the type of woman we want. We don't want women like this," but they chase the women that they say they don't want a lot of the times, and then it'd be a lot of women who really they are willing to work with you. They're willing to do certain things, but you look over them.
Exactly.
You see a post on social media where somebody's saying all men are like this, and
I hate those.
or you women or all women are like this, and you will see 1,000 women in the comments like, not all of us. I do this, that, and that. They literally be telling you, giving you their whole resume. He'll focus on the one that's like, you're right, because that's how it's supposed to be. Bruh, you skipped over 100 other women that said that was down with what you wanted. Why don't you give energy to that?
It's psychotic at a certain point. Like,
it's weird.
Like, you want to just keep going through this same circle of stuff. And I hate the generalization of either sex, because
it's weird.
That's one thing I do appreciate about my parents. My parents didn't really have gender roles. Like,
I think that's how it should be.
Like, it was whoever's job it was that day to cook. Whoever was home was cooking. Whoever was able to wash the clothes was gonna wash clothes, because mom worked late today, so dad was doing the clothes and folding the clothes and rearing us and all of that. Like, it didn't matter who. That's how it should be. It's not no gender role. It's whoever's there,
because that's how you balance. Like, if you're putting a certain type of thing on one person, that's messing up the balance of things, rather than both of you working to keep the household in order. Not just a woman or not just a man, both people.
And that's what my mom made sure. She said, "You're gonna know how to clean, you're gonna know how to cook, you're gonna know how to do all of this." And I'm thankful for it, because these people are seeking out women to do stuff for them that they should know how to do for themselves.
What do you bring to the table? Like, you gonna have my dinner ready when I come home. You gonna have my foot tub. My grandma used to put a foot tub at the seat. And when my daddy came home, she took off his shoes, or my granddaddy came home, she took off his shoes and put his feet in the foot and soaking in the bruh.
I feel like people need to work on being of service to the person that they're with, both sides.
Both sides.
Like,
I don't mind doing that. I really don't. But at the same time, why? But it's like that's a forced role. Like, women should do that. Women should be like this, and women should be like that. But what if my feet tired?
Exactly. Are you gonna do that? Are you gonna keep that same energy for her?
Right.
You gonna run the bath for her? You gonna do all of that for her? You want this stuff done for you, though. But what if we live in a society where it's really, really, really hard to have a one income household? So just as hard as you worked, she worked just as hard as you did. So,
and she gotta cater to you and the kids and clean and cook.
Hell no,
that's hard. That's like that's 90-10. If all you doing is working and you do nothing else, and that your woman is doing everything, that's 90-10.
And that's not fair at all.
At all.
You shouldn't ask that of somebody if you're not willing to give the same, because both parties in a relationship, whether it's man, woman, woman, man, woman, woman, like,
right,
you deserve to be treated just as well as the other person deserves to be treated. You need to learn your love languages and speak to them in their love language, because some people's love languages acts of service. So you cleaning up and stuff means so much to them. That's the biggest I love you can give them. Oh, you swept up the floor for me and you washed the dishes? That's love, right? No.
And then they gonna want to give back, like when you put forth the effort. But I don't like the fact that our generation is like, let me see what you can do.
Right.
What can you do? Like, show me what you can do. Like, why are you sitting there not doing anything? We should both come into this situation doing things for each other.
Exactly.
Not let's see what you can do before I do this. Like, you got to do this, then I'll do this. Why is it like that?
People are so protective and defensive now that it's, instead of showing what they really do bring to the table, bring to the table yourself first.
Right.
Yourself is a lot. What you had to bring to the table is your personality, your characteristics.
That's the
really important because finances. You could be Bill Gates and be a fucking asshole.
exactly.
You don't
That's
want
the
to
important thing.
exactly for real.
Your character, like, are you reliable? Are you do you appreciate? Because I feel like a lot of the times people don't see their spouse as a person. They
Not at
see their
all.
spouse as just like somebody who's supposed to get certain things done. Like you basically a servant. You see them as somebody who's supposed to get things done rather than them being a person. And maybe your husband is very quiet, and like you notice that he's not really talking, he's withdrawn, like he's not, being his normal self. And you see it, and then you of course you gotta know what type of person he is, because if your husband is somebody that when they get in those moods, they gotta get out of it themselves,
Right.
going and asking them a bunch of questions is not gonna help. But do
Yeah.
something that makes them comfortable. Like if you see him withdrawn and you know that he like to soak, he like baths, and he likes for you to put, everything in it, the bubbles, the flowers, whatever.
Right.
Run him a bath or something like that, or give him something, or get him. I feel like great gifts for spouses that spend a lot of time at home. Something outside, something that don't got nothing to do with family.
Right.
Give them something. Give them something that's going to cheer them up,
Right.
instead of like, creating invisible issues in your head. Like, oh, he ain't talking to me. It must be this. It must be that.
It was a funny video I seen like that where it was just like he thinking about another woman over there. It's
Yeah.
funny he was thinking about why this tire won't fit on the car the way it's supposed to. It's like you don't know what we thinking. We be deep in thought about other stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's not that. Like
About sometimes about little simple things,
right.
and you think, and they create stories in your head. Like, I've never been like that. I really
I,
like
I
if
had to
if
I had to
if
get out of it.
like, I've never been if I'm not the person that's always thinking, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? Like, I wholeheartedly feel like if my spouse is doing something wrong, I'm always going to find out. I'm not looking for it. I'm not about to stress myself out about it, thinking in circles and stuff like that. If they're doing something, I'm gonna know. I'm gonna find out.
Then in the dark always comes to the light. That's one thing I do.
Always.
You can only hide something for so long.
For so long.
Although I do believe that women are much better at hiding stuff than men.
Definitely. I
they
agree with
they they
you.
they will most definitely like they could get away with it. The FBI for real, that's what y'all
And
need to
I
start
think
going
it's because
to,
women are multitaskers.
right?
Like, she doing like 10 things at one time. You ain't even noticed because she's still on it. When men are doing stuff, it's so obvious because
Right,
their attention, it takes away from what they usually do. It's so
exactly.
obvious. You can tell because y'all like can't do a whole lot of things at one time. Like, I remember my ex, I remember I had a conversation with him one time. I think we were broken up, but about like cheating, and I was telling him, I was like, bro, you're not even a good cheater. You need to stop cheating. You're not doing it right. You're not supposed to be. If I'm your side chick, why is you over here for hours? Like, you ain't even this ain't even you. Like, you need to figure out what it is that is making you do this. Cause I can have conversations like that with a guy. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna take you back. Like, I can talk to you about the issues,
Oh, but
but
it's
you
done
gotta
for at that point,
you
right?
gotta go after that.
That's one
But
thing as a society that we need to really do too is start giving women credit for the leaders that they can really be because a lot of times
right.
women are better leaders than men, but they don't want to put a woman in a presidential spot.
I
Honestly,
know. I wonder, like, men be seeming like they're so afraid to do that. It's like, what y'all think we gonna do? Make the world better?
I hate this joke that goes around that they're like, oh well, if she gets on her period, she gonna be so mad and bomb the other country. You really think
Hey, y'all out here bombing other countries for gas.
every single war in history was started
For
by a man,
gas. For gas.
right?
For fuel. For fuel.
Like we
For resources and stuff like that. Like they be bombing countries for stupid reasons.
Mm.
And I feel like men are more emotional. And
Right.
it's because they repress their emotions a lot
Right.
when we really don't. So when you let your emotions out, it seems like you're not in control, but you are. Letting it out is in more control than you not.
I honestly feel like two women leaders could get a whole lot more done than two women leaders of the country. Imagine if it was a
Yeah.
woman leader that was a leader of America and a woman leader that was a leader of Russia. We would have solved that beef in a while. Like it's really not that. They're gonna
Yeah.
hash it out. It's really, you know what? We friends now. our countries don't got beef no more. You know, like
Because they'll resolve it, but it's always this underlying like, but you better watch your back. Because if you do that again, then I'm gonna come at you like this type of
that's
thing.
literally how World War II happened. Like it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have peace. And then they was over there in Germany, like, nah, nah.
Like
We still got beef, but we gonna figure this out. Like we gonna act like we cool right now.
like that would remind me of the end of Wakanda Forever.
I haven't seen
When
it yet.
they
Don't tell me. Don't tell
oh
me. Don't
you
tell me. Don't tell
okay, I ain't gonna tell you, but what you said remind me of
me.
that
But we could go on this for all night. You know me, we could go on
forever.
all night. But this has been a really, really fun episode. I was intending to talk about anime, but I knew the conversation was gonna get deep anyway. So I just can't help it. We will revisit the anime another time when you and I are on. You know,
Yeah.
but we gotta get Lay the Bae to watch the anime.
We got to. I feel like Death Note is a good starter.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But it's been fun. Y'all know that the Real Podcast is on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Google Play, all of that good stuff. So look us up, the Raw Educated Analysis of Life podcast, and we pop up number one. So we love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and share the video out. If you don't, even if you don't watch the whole thing, just share it out to somebody. These clicks mean a lot.
Right.
It really does mean a lot. So
Put
I
some
love you.
emojis in the comments if you don't want to write nothing.
Right, right. Smiley face, heart, something, something. And love you guys. It's been real. Peace.
Bye.